What's going down, people? How you doing? TK coming at you. Just want to hit you guys with some independent, critical thinking. The one thing that a lot of people can't seem to do, there doesn't seem to be any independent thinkers anymore, only robots and people to do what other people do, i.e. follow the crowd. So here's the biggest thing going on right now in terms of the nation. The nation is going through what's compassionately known as engineered weather. And engineered weather is instituted by HAARP, it's instituted by chemtrails, but the end result of engineered weather is targeted areas, typically urban areas, that are impoverished because of the devastation and then never rebuilt because of the financial expense. Example is Katrina. Another example would be what's going on right now in Puerto Rico. So people can't adequately explain what they feel, what they see, and what they're going through. And because of their inability to communicate effectively, then that leaves open room for what I call the bashing, because the system is designed to stay in your place, boy. And if you don't stay in your place, the Ku Klux Klan is going to string you up to a tree and make an example out of you. Oh, now the Ku Klux Klan is a member of the Order of the Police, or a member of anyone that is a part of the status quo, anyone of the same ideology and thinking, because attacks within the matrix come at you from any and every place when you don't do as you're told, boy. So the divisiveness that rings all the time within our country is easily sounded amongst color lines. But the attack to individualism doesn't matter what color, party, because the system defends itself adamantly against anyone who's not for the system. So right now we're in a position where you have people being eradicated. How long do you think you would last with no power, no food, no support from the nanny state government? So the nanny's not supporting you, you can't support yourself. How long will you last before you die? That's what's going on in New Orleans. That's what's going on right now in Puerto Rico. And then the overall result of geoengineering is the financial benefit to the corporation, because people bet on the downside. So there's money to be made in disaster because you bet on the engineered disaster. So because people can't finger point, or people can't accurately describe the nature of our system, they, in a very confused manner, blow up their frustrations on any and everything. And this is what leads to continued divisiveness, because as the wind blows, so does their attention and their anger and their frustration. But this thing is really a Trojan horse. It's really order out of chaos. It's really an agenda. And it really has to do with sheep in the matrix being played on the board. The pawns on the chessboard are just being played. The engineered weather comes, gets rid of undesirables, and there's never a design plan to help those desirables. So we take the bullet on mismanagement in terms of FEMA. We take the bullet on mismanagement in terms of our response to the disaster. And people have amnesia or short-term memory, so eventually they'll get over it, and eventually a lot of people will be dead. Think about it. If the same thing happens that happens in New Orleans, think about the same thing happening in every major urban area. And how long will you survive in a major urban city with no power, no food, and no support? But because people can't accurately describe what's going on, they just go off with frustration on any and everything. And that's what we see right now. Oh, it's that fault. Oh, it's this fault. Oh, it's blah, blah, blah. Oh, whatever divisiveness that the agenda pushes out. Yeah, that's what's the problem. It's because they're taking away our stuff. When people can't see that the underlying power and the underlying agenda is to divide and conquer, and then make money off of both sides. So the underlying problem itself is the inherent greed and the inherent mismanagement, the inherent flaws built into fiat money system. That's the underlying problem, is that money itself has no incentive to encourage positive behavior. The power and the influence skews the scale so that they make more money and have more control than everyone else. And there's no morality in that. So I will close this video by saying, let the money die in the ashes. Let the runaway debt create the Trojan horse of here's a new system, and let the new system, let out of the ashes rise the phoenix of cryptocurrency, where open transparency becomes the new standard, where a worldwide network where everyone has the ability to equally participate and equally contribute in a monetary system that has no incentive to be greedy or incentive to cheat. Let the new standard out of the ashes become cryptocurrency. A totally decentralized, not controlled by any authority, where the individual becomes their own bank. They take back the power, they take back the ability. Let that be the reason that you empower yourself out of the death of the dollar.